Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. If there's anything in the back that sounds strange, it's just Rama and Sita. A little bit too much puppy energy.
Yeah, they're playing hopscotch.
They are. Please do subscribe to both channels, EEARTS, and typically we're going to cover Earth changes and going deeper into the hidden mysteries, spiritual side of things over on EEARTS, although this video would typically be going up on Evolutionary, but we already did one on Evolutionary today, and we want to keep both channels fresh, so to speak. The thing that seems to be popping up the most, though, is this feeling of heaviness, and it's just real palpable. We had a lot of people we were working with today, energy-wise, and everybody feels the same thing. I mean, we've been feeling this for days now, maybe weeks even, but it just seems to be kind of a building up of a certain heavy energy.
Well, you know what's interesting about it is when that ad came out about the Vatican calling in all of their money by September 30th, I looked at that and I saw like just a pure black heart chakra, that heaviness, that weighing down, and obviously that means that's pretty much something that's going to be merciless, whatever it turns out to be. I looked at this energy with Russia and I got the same heavy heart, the same black-heartedness. So whatever this energy is, and when is it going to happen, I can't tell you when for sure, but it's something that's unfolding.
Absolutely. And Yeshua came through several times in meditation and wanted to just give us the message that it was a statement of people are dying because of ignorance. It's a lack of understanding still by the masses. They don't understand what's going on, the level of manipulation that's going on, how all this is orchestrated. And, there is a biblical phrase, my people are dying due to lack of knowledge. It really is lack of knowledge because, we're being sold something all the time, continually. That's really not true. It's not what's really happening. And these situations, these events are absolutely, I'm trying to think of a word that's a little bit more obscure on purpose for the AI, but there's no way to really get around it. This is a series of manufactured events that are leading to a catastrophic ending.
It is, and what is that going to look like exactly? I think a lot of us have some good ideas, and that's why so many of us prepare. We know we're going to need this buffer for a little bit of a bumpy ride, and that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like a bumpy ride, and we're going to have to get from point A to point B, and possibly even build up wherever we're at with those that are close to us a new way of living. But we need to look at this as an opportunity. While the controllers are moving their horses into position, we need to be moving ourselves into position, because whether we like it or not, we create our own surroundings. We have power here, and it's time to use that co-creative ability with one another.
So there's subtitles are going to pop up, and this is a speech that was done by Vladimir Putin. And, there's been a lot of talk about this speech, and I'll play it with no background so you could, well, I'll get rid of his voice there. Maybe I'll restart and I'll read it to you. He says, I want to remind those who allow themselves such statements about that our country also has a wide variety of weapons of destruction. And he goes on to say that some of which in some areas are more modern than those in NATO countries. And if the territorial integrity of our country is threatened, we will without question use all of the means at our disposal. That's pretty clear. To protect Russia and our people, this is not a bluff. So we can see headlines, Daily Mail saying it's a in-use KE threat to the West. Putin warns Ukraine's allies he will use weapons of destruction, announces mobilization of another 300,000 troops, declares he is not bluffing. First Russian mobilization since World War II. Some have said it's a partial mobilization. Others within Russia that listened said that he didn't say it partial. Perhaps it's going to come through in stages. We also see that the Chinese army should focus on preparing for real hostilities, so says the leader of China. It's different this time. It just is different. We're getting much, much closer. There's a reason why the plague upon the land is, over and done, at least this particular stage. It's because there's other portions of the Grand Theater, the great play on this global theater that's playing out, that will have as its focal point other things: economic destruction and global war. Meanwhile, don't you worry, never fear, Underdog will soon be here. Well, not Underdog, but JB, he's right here. And, he's got it totally under control.
Mr. President, thank you.
Who, me?
No. Yeah, that one president of the 4-H behind you.
The one thing we could say is, thanks for the memories. Thanks for all the laughs that his presidency has brought. Absolute laughter. And then at times, gosh, he feels like he belongs with a little pitchfork in his hand, a little spiky tail, and some horns.
Mm-hmm. I know. It would be very fitting and adorable for him.
So he accuses Russia of irresponsible nuclear threats and violating UN Charter. Meanwhile, things are very somber in Russia, especially. Actually, there's a ton of anxiety. Russia to increase military hardware production. State defense and technology giant Rostec has made the announcement amid the partial mobilization. And again, there's some sources saying this is really not a partial, it's just being done in stages. And don't forget, guys, we were talking before about, and gosh, who was the first one to leak this in China? I think it was Jennifer Zhang that was leaking this, that China has mobilized as well. And they've shifted to a full war front mobilization of industries all across the nation. So, the war drums are beating very, very strong. And here you see an alleged document from Russian Ministry of Internal Affairs indicates starting tomorrow, September 22nd, traffic checkpoints across Russia will be manned by military commissars, and men eligible for mobilization will be remanded into custody. And, I just thought about something. I just totally forgot about it. Hang on to this.
Mm-hmm. And how most appropriate that today happens to be the International Day of Peace.
That's what it was.
Yes, it's the International Day of Peace. And about 63 days ago, I got that message from the guides and giving me the sunrise and sunset as an example, showing me, how many 24-hour periods. And it turned out to be this day. So we've understood this for a little while now. And look at the threats that are being shown. I mean, these are huge threats, horrible threats.
So, here we are. Today is September 21st. And, if you look at the headlines, Russia throwing around the N-word and, full-scale warfare, anything could be used. You have the big statement by Putin. You have Xi Jinping saying, we need to really get ready for when we join the war. We've seen, perhaps we've seen Chinese troops over in Ukraine, and, condemnation coming from Biden, all on the International Day of Peace.
How most appropriate.
This is how this world works. Mm-hmm. This is how it works in a dark age. And there are reports that men are being blocked from leaving Russia's land borders with Georgia and Finland, while women are allowed to pass. Social media accounts say Russian railways and airlines are refusing to sell tickets to men 18 to 65 years of age. The flights are full, and people are leaving the country very, very quickly. So that is something that we're seeing. We're seeing many people commenting on that. And you have Russian Vesna, the spring movement, calling for anti-mobilization protests in all Russian cities tonight. As you can see there, here you see military mobilization in Russia. They're looking for him. Where could he be? Is he under the couch? No, he's in the fridge. I don't want to go to Ukraine. No. Come on. Odessa's lovely. Uh-huh. Again, this is just, it's just so wrong. And we see people taking to the streets in protests. St. Petersburg as well as Moscow, big protests going on. 630 people have been detained in Russia so far, probably much higher now. And here you see it's impossible to keep silent as people are protesting out front of the gates. And this is a traffic jam at the Finnish border, one of the open borders where people could actually leave Russia. And it's just back to back, people waiting to get out. Get into Finland, get away from the draft. I'll give you guys the links. There is it's not really a good scene in here of a girl that went out to protest, and she did look like she was killed by the, whatever you want to call them, military police forces. And then meanwhile in Russia today, Google searches for how to break an arm surged to get out of combat. Meanwhile, another ex-Putin ally plunges to his death from a great height at the Moscow Aviation Institute. So this is the latest Russian official to fall to his death in mysterious circumstances. Anatoly Gerashchenko, former head of Moscow's Aviation Institute, died in a mysterious fall inside the institute's headquarters, Russian capital. The official press statement described the 73-year-old's death as a result of an accident. Yes, it's a colossal loss. And yet another. There's just been so many people that just have decided to have these strange, unusual accidents.
Just so mysterious.
So why are we sending billions upon billions, tens and tens of billions, could be, really going into hundreds of billions? By the way, there was another official act that was put into place where the government's no longer going to tell us how much money they're giving in military aid. They're not going to disclose that to the public. Hello, isn't the government supposed to be working for the public? Yeah, that's an illusion too. Americans oppose increasing Ukrainian aid. Actually, people are not even for it in the first place. Only 17% of Americans are concerned about defending democracy around the globe. Only 17%. That leaves 83% that are not. They're more worried about what's going on right here, right now. So why do we have 87,000 new IRS agents and we only have 20,000 border agents total? I mean, the things that make you go, huh? Yeah, this is not something that concerns people, and people don't want the war. 55% of respondents oppose direct American military intervention. Only 14% support fighting for a war in Kiev, and those probably work in the MIC, or they're part of the political structure itself. And that Trudeau and Macron and Liz Truss, all those WEF puppets, they're not going to be eating crickets. In fact, Trudeau residents spent $12,000 on groceries in just a month. Yeah. Again, crickets not for them. That's for you and us. That's what they want. And meanwhile, in Iran, we have people saying no more of this hijabs. Throwing their official Muslim headdresses in the fire. Well, again, 1976, there's photos of Iranian beaches, and it looks just like American beaches. People were dressed Western style. And then, of course, you had your Islamic Revolution come in. And yes, my personal opinion, I have read through the Quran. I did not find it the slightest bit inspiring. Not at all. And that's just me, to each their own. I've found the Tao Te Ching inspiring. I've found so many things inspiring as far as different philosophical and religious texts, but no, not the Quran. And a lot of things in the Bible, as I've shared with you guys too. Like I'm not crazy about Colossians 3:22, slaves obey your masters. No, again, this is all part of the control system that needs to be destroyed. It has to be. It should be purged, just like those kebabs, not kebabs, on the fire. Yeah, we need to get rid of all these relics that are of a violent past. It is all violent. It is all violent. We're told, thou shalt not kill. And then at the same breath, you have go in there and kill every man, woman, and child. Total contradictions. But it's perfectly in line with what we see geopolitically. It's totally in line with what we see geopolitically all around the globe. Nothing but contradictions. And it's just a sick system. Thankfully, it won't be around for too much longer.
No, it's time to change it.
Absolutely. So once again, guys, thanks again for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Check out Medicinal Foods. Link in every video. Coupon code EEA gets you a discount. Does support the channel. Keep putting out the positive vibes. Keep illuminating minds and awakening others to what's going on. Much love. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.